need roads, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? I'm Spartacus!
I'm Batman.
I am the Father.
So, Mary, what, if anything, given the fact that you're having a very busy time of it, have you been consuming entertainment-wise this week?
So it's been a bit of a mixed bag for me, actually, and you'll see this as I go through my list. I started off the week with In the Heat of the Night, which I caught on BBC iPlayer because I've never seen it before. So I just wanted to, obviously it's quite a famous film, Sidney Poitier, with the whole, they call me Mr. Tibbs, which is quite a well-known cinema line. So I just wanted to watch it and see what it was like. It maybe wasn't as sort of serious and grimy as I thought it was going to be, but I did really enjoy it. And I think his performance in it obviously is excellent as well. It was liberal with racial slurs, as you might imagine. It was quite interesting. It was quite one of those films where I felt like the reveal of what had actually happened, because it was a dead body, I felt like the reveal was a little bit silly, but I can understand why it's a very sort of revered and respected performance from him in it as well. So that was on iPlayer. And then obviously we had the terrible news that Robert Redford had passed away. So one of the films that's been sitting on my sort of like list of films to watch for ages was The Old Man and the Gun, which I believe was his last film. So I gave that a watch, and my God, he must have been like 81, 82 when he made this film. There's still the twinkle in his eyes. He's still super charming. Like, it was just a really nice watch. He obviously plays a bank robber, and he's part of a gang who the police sort of rudely call the Over the Hill gang, because it's all old men that are doing it. But he's just, he was super charming in it as well. Just a really, really good watch. And to be honest with you, if I get held up at gunpoint and it was Robert Redford on the other end, you would just do whatever he said. So the actual like premise of it all just worked, because you would do whatever Robert Redford wanted. So it was a really good watch, and obviously just sad because what a legacy he's left behind, not just in terms of the films that he's been in and he's directed, but of course the Sundance Film Festival and his environmentalism that he was involved in as well, like all the work that he did there. So back to Netflix, and my algorithm's still fucked. So I watched Con Mum, which was about a really famous pastry chef from London who, out of the blue, his birth mother got in touch. And as the title suggests, she was not everything that she seemed. But because he was just so desperate to have found his biological mother, or is she, he just sort of went along with all of the sort of schemes that she was coming up with. So that was quite a good wee watch. I caught The Secrets of Marrowbone on Film 4, which again is quite a stacked cast. It was like George Mackay, Anya Taylor-Joy, Mia Goth, and the boy I've forgotten who's in Stranger Things. So they were in it as well. It was a kind of horror that wasn't a horror, if that makes sense. The twist was very, very good. There was a couple of wee jump scares as you were going along watching it, kind of haunted house sort of premise. And the twist at the end I definitely didn't see coming. So I thought that was quite a good watch, quite spooky, quite unsettling. Yesterday, I went to the GFT for the 60th anniversary re-release of The Sound of Music, which was just an incredible experience. Never seen it in the cinema before. And there was much joviality and clapping and whooping and hollering and all the rest of it. But when Captain Von Trapp sang Edelweiss for the first time, and when the Mother Superior sang Climb Every Mountain, you could have heard a pin drop. It was really quite an exciting experience. And at the end, people were standing up. They were shouting encore as if it was a theatre show. They were cheering and whistling, but it was so lovely. It's one of these films that it just has never lost its appeal, has it? You know, it's just a fantastic walk. Songs are all really familiar as well. So yeah, that was good. So that's the films that I've been watching. TV wise, I had the privilege to watch the first few episodes of To Cook a Bear, which is coming to Disney Plus, starring Gustav Skarsgård. And that is the story of a preacher in the 1850s who's sent to the very, very north of Sweden. And he's a bit of a firebrand. He preaches sort of like anti-capitalism. He embraces the Sami people, but then a body appears and one of the young maid servants has gone missing. So it's a sort of murder mystery period drama with a little bit of Sherlock Holmes thrown in there as well, and it's very, very good. And of course, I'm not just saying that because I got to speak to him this week. It was a genuinely good watch. And finally, for complete trash, I started watching 90 Day Fiancé UK, which is about people from the UK who are obviously bringing over their partner from overseas. The first episode of which featured a 60-something-year-old woman who referred to herself as a visa vagina. And she's dating a 30-year-old man in the Gambia, and he's just asked her for $3,000 to start up a taxi business. So that's going to go well, I can tell.
Yes, these programs are getting more and more ridiculous all the time. Some of these reality programs, because there's one, it's been advertised just now, and it's about couples who I don't think they've ever met, and they are stranded on a desert island. And there's a community of them, and they have to
Married
survive.
at First Sight, but they've shipped them off to...
and Survivor mixed in, and maybe a wee bit of Love Island in there as well. So, and that's been advertised heavily. And of course, they're seen jumping off a boat wearing like wedding attire, and then having to use the same wedding attire to to build things and stuff. And
Oh God!
How far are you going to go with this sort of stuff? But yes, but there's whole channels dedicated to it. So, yeah,
indeed. And sometimes you just need the brain rot in amongst all of this really highbrow stuff that we do.
For myself, I've had it's been a reasonably light week. There was more prep than normal for me for this film that we're going to talk about later on. So I wanted to watch that a couple of times and stuff. I've started, I'm going to implement a new policy where, if possible, I will watch something twice. Once just for the enjoyment of it, and the second time actually to pick up on all the stuff, the themes and all this sort of stuff. And I think it has paid dividends, because if I'm just watching a film and enjoying it, I'm not really thinking about
there's a
technical aspects. So yeah. And it means I'm still enjoying films as well, which is obviously the main thing. So, but I did watch a film called The Odessa File, based on the Frederick Forsyth novel. It's from the early 70s. It's John Voight is a reporter in Western Germany who, by chance, is on the scene where an elderly Jewish man has gassed himself in his apartment. And he's friendly with the police that are actually involved in the case, and the policeman gives him a folder which is partially a diary and partially like recollections of various elements of his past. And he's intrigued by this because he learns of an organization called Odessa, which was set up at the end of the Second World War to basically integrate SS officers and staff back into society with fake names and things like that, rather than sending them to South America. And this story intrigues him, so he starts getting into the story and looking for one particular person who is noted in the stories that this old man had told. So he basically goes undercover. He works with it's like Israeli intelligence who are trying to find all these people. And is it Simon Wiesenthal? He's actually name-checked in it. And it's all about him finding this, and it's a Christmas film as well. It's set at the time where it's set in November 22nd, 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated. So that was a big story, and obviously this is another story that's sort of going under the radar around about the same time. And it's really kind of strange, because it's obviously, as I say, it was made in like 1974. The music is Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice, and they wrote the title song. There's a song plays over the titles, and it's Perry Como that sings the song, and it's a Christmas song that he sings, and it was a flop. The Christmas song was a flop, and you don't really hear it on any of these like Christmas compilations or playlists. Partly because of the subject matter of the film, I would imagine. It's not very Christmassy. So, but yes, it's a bizarre wee sort of twist, and the film's actually pretty decent. I did remember there is a wee element of it that plays out in the third act, and I did remember it about halfway through the film because I'd seen this film years and years ago. But yeah, still a decent film. Jon Voight's pretty good in it as well. The thing is, they're all German, and they're all speaking English with these German accents, which that is a very sort of 70s thing. But yeah, it was fairly decent. That was on Talking Pictures TV. That's the sort of place that you can go to for these type of films. There's a lot of them out there. I watched The Firm, the Alan Clark film from the early 80s, starring Gary Oldman. It's about the football casuals.
Oh, I thought you were talking about The Firm as in the John Grisham adaptation there. So
No. This was part of a series on the BBC in the 70s and 80s called Screen 2, where they got filmmakers to do these reasonably short. I mean, the film is only like about 70 minutes long, and they basically gave them free rein to go and do whatever they wanted. And the Alan Clark one, obviously, he just died recently, so it was a bit of a tribute to him in that. And it's one of Gary Oldman's early roles where he's this well-dressed football casual, and it's them versus, I think it's like another crew down in London and all that. And it's all these faces of people who have popped up in all sorts of things like soap operas and things. Like the guy who plays Jim McDonald or played Jim McDonald in Coronation Street turns up, but not with a Northern Ireland accent. So I think he's doing more of a normal accent here, whereas obviously in Coronation Street he had to be Northern Irish all the time. To the extent where people thought he was Northern Irish. He may well have been, but it didn't sound like, it sounded more natural what he was saying in the film. So, but yeah, it was really good. It's dated, but it was shot on film and everything. So the performance from Gary Oldman is immense in it. It's just menacing, this menacing guy. There's one wee scene in it where he's practicing battering somebody's head in by using like a chip on a child's bed and on the mattress because it's quite soft and he's not making much noise, and he's just hammering this thing, and he's wearing shirt and tie and all this at the same time. It's just crazy, and the slick back hair and everything. Just it is, like I say, very much of its time, but yeah, it's quite a powerful drama, and I think that's on iPlayer as well. It will be for a while. That was really good. I don't know if I'd mentioned that I'd seen Life of Chuck. I think maybe.
Oh no, you haven't. Mike Flanagan.
I haven't. No. Yes, that's really good. That's a film in 3 distinct acts about the life of Chuck, and I'm not going to spoil the premise of it because to say a lot about it would give an awful lot away. So it really, one is the first sort of act of it is about the world ending. Things are starting to go to shit. All sorts of things are happening, and these people in sort of a normal Midwestern town are trying to figure out what's actually happening. And like the internet goes down and it doesn't come back ever, so people are kind of wondering what's going on. And then all sorts of things, like floods and all these weather events and things like that. And there's a spectacular ending to the first act, which I will not give away at all. It's lovely. It's really nice. Then the second act is Chuck as an adult, and he works with numbers. He's an accountant, and he's at an accountant conference. You might have seen a wee bit of this because it's Tom Hiddleston, and he's dancing. I've seen the trailer. There's an extended dance sequence in that, and it's fantastic. It's really good. It doesn't look like it's sort of a mix between professional choreography and the way someone would actually dance if they're just interested in it. And the third act is Chuck as a young boy and his upbringing, and it brings, obviously, the third act brings the first and second act together. It sort of merges it all in, and it shows his love of dance, where that came from, and how he was brought up by his grandparents and all that, and how he got his sort of his moral compass and his idea about the world from there, and all that from his teachers and from his school and all that as well. It's a really good film. It's really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And again, Tom Hiddleston, although he's like front and center, he's really only in one act of it for about 40 minutes. The other ones, it doesn't have him in it. It's just strange. I'd never read the novella, so I didn't know anything about it. Really enjoyed it. Really liked it. And there's a voiceover. It goes through part of it as well. So that's really kind of interesting as well, and it works really well. It's a good film. I would definitely recommend catching it if it comes on to streaming service, because it's obviously away from the cinemas now. I don't think it did particularly well, unfortunately.
I did see trailers for that, and I never once saw it in the listings.
Yeah,
to actually go and buy tickets to see it.
It was there for a couple of weeks, but I don't think it had like any sort of great traction, which is a real shame because it was good and it got there was kind of mixed reviews. Some people loved it the same way that I did, and other people just dismissed it and said it was a bit twee and stuff. But you know, these people have no souls, so you know it's fine. I can live with that. So yeah. I watched the Uncharted film.
Oh yes,
Tom Holland one. It was on Film 4 a couple of weeks ago, and I recorded it and watched that. I hadn't seen it since it had actually come out, and it's really good. I really like this because I like the games, the Sony games with the same names. There's 4 plus the spin-off game so far, and it was just because I was reading up about it, and there's a new film being made, which is probably going to be at least, I think it's going to be 2 years' time. It's coming out, and it's the same sort of core cast as well. So that's good. And so I went back to that and watched that. And there's a lot of elements in the film that come from one of the 3 games. There's certain scenes that they've set up, and it's really good. And Tom Holland's actually really good in it as Nathan Drake, the sort of antique hunter, the sort of, you know, he hunts all sorts of stuff and things like that. And it's good. And there's lots of like sort of nice wee elements. There's a lot of comedy in it as well. Mark Wahlberg is his mentor, guy named Sully, who is slightly different in the games. He's slightly older and he's got a moustache, but he ends up with a moustache at the end of the film as well. So that's pretty good as well. And I think it's Antonio Banderas is a bad guy in it, I think.
Oh.
So it's all good, and it was a cracking film. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed that. The Kirky Cinema, which I am involved in, started back yesterday. So the first showing was Lilo and Stitch. There wasn't really
the live action one.
The live action version, I should say. Yes, there wasn't that many sort of summer blockbusters that were available to us. The way the cinemas run is it's based on DVD release of films, not cinema release, because we don't have like a digital projector. We've just got a sort of regular projector. We hook it up to a Blu-ray player, but we have to wait until a disc version is available before we can license it and things. It's just the way that it is, unfortunately, for us. So we can't get stuff that's out at the cinema. So it's just as soon as it comes out of cinema release and goes on to sort of a disc format, we can get that. So Lilo and Stitch, obviously, was a couple of months ago. We showed it yesterday as the first film in our season. We start in September and we run through to May, I think it is. And obviously the next couple of months are going to be quite busy because we've got Halloween showings, and then we've got all the Christmas ones, which are completely nuts because we go to schools and all that. But anyway, Lilo and Stitch, I don't know if you've seen it. It's not normally, I tend not to watch too many kids films, but I watch them as part of the press stuff when they come on there. Yes, I will go and see the film because I'm going all day anyway, usually to these things. And the film is a fairly live action representation of the animated film. There's not that much difference, but the film is that strong that it holds up really nicely. And it is a film for kids, you know.
Yeah, I never got the whole Lilo and Stitch thing. Like, I know that people are completely Stitch obsessed, but it was never ever one of my Disney favorites. I just didn't like it. Didn't like the character. Wasn't that interested. So I haven't seen the live action for that reason. Like, it just wasn't one of my favorites. But I understand that obviously, I mean, there's Stitch stuff everywhere. So I understand that it's a very, very popular character, just not for me.
Yep. There's a good shout that the character of Baby Yoda looks as if it may partly be based on the look of Stitch, as in with the big eyes and the ears.
What?
No, that's just a theory that I've just thought there, because I thought when I saw it yesterday, I thought it's not that far. It's in the same sort of ballpark in terms of the look. Yeah, and it's more to do with the big eyes and the sort of the nice round face, whereas Yoda obviously is older and wrinklier.
Yeah.
But yeah, You know, I think they may have had a look at what would appeal to children, and obviously the big.
It's always the big eyes. I'm such a sucker for big eyes like that. Yeah.
Yep. So, and last night, as I teased earlier on, I went through to Edinburgh because Rufus Wainwright was playing at the Usher Hall.
Wow.
He was there with the Scottish Symphony Orchestra doing tracks from his albums Want 1 and Want 2, which are probably his most successful and popular albums.
Wow.
So it was him, piano, full orchestra, and it was really, really good.
I bet you that was amazing.
It was great because of the acoustics and everything. Yeah, and his voice is still fantastic, considering he's obviously he's not a young man anymore, but he's not like dead old. But he's still got this really, really powerful voice, and obviously the songs stand up very well. And he makes the occasional remark about one of the songs he wrote after 9/11, and he said, you know, this was done then, and obviously, and he says, yeah, now it looks as if it was the good old days. So he's
oh my god.
As one of his encores, he did that song, which is not on either albums, called "Going to a Town" from Release the Stars.
I love that song.
That's all about, you know, the fact that America had gone to shit, and that was like maybe 15 years ago. That was actually. So yes, because he says that I'm playing this song more and more. it's not good, you know. So it's
because I think he lives in Berlin with his partner, doesn't he? Because Release the Stars has quite a lot of. That's one of my favorite Rufus albums, but that has like quite a lot of. Like, there's Tiergarten and Songs to See that's on that are talking about like walking through that city. So I love this stuff.
Yeah. So that was really good. I think he's touring. He's playing down in Manchester. He's doing a couple of dates down there with an orchestra as well next week. Yeah. And this was the first of the shows. So yes, it was really good. I just really enjoyed it. And it was like a nice appreciative crowd that just actually listened to the music and clapped and cheered and stood up.
No nonsense.
When you're supposed to stand. Oh yeah, I think it was just because it's not that kind of show where you're going to get people dancing in the aisles and things like that. So it was all very well behaved and grown up, and it finished about 10 o'clock at night because it was just him doing 2 sets. So it finished at a reasonable time. So it was like back home for 11 o'clock kind of idea. You know? And that's when I mentioned it, when we came out of the Usher Hall, it was dark and it was freezing cold. And
Edinburgh, I feel, is always colder and damper than Glasgow. And yet when I left the GFT about 8 o'clock, no, that's not true. It was about 7 o'clock last night. I was like, it's getting a bit chilly. The sun hadn't quite set, but it did feel cold. But Edinburgh, I always feel, is darker, colder. They have the lovely architecture, but the weather is not as good.
Yes, so I've remarked on in the past when I've been travelling through to the likes of St Andrews. When you get to Kincardine, it's almost like going through a curtain, and it actually has been at times because it's been raining the other side of Kincardine, and it's been dry. And it just goes, you go through and it's colder and wet, and you're going, what's going on here? It's just, anyway, but yes, that's climate for you. That's the way that kind of goes. So television wise, not really watched too much. I've started watching Batman the Animated Series, which is a sort of seminal animated show from the 90s. It sort of solidified a lot of Batman lore after the Tim Burton films, and it's regarded as being sort of top-notch Batman. Obviously, the style of it looks a little bit dated, but the content of it is brilliant. It's really good, and it's just like 20 minutes. I think that is on Netflix. You can see that. I am getting towards the end of The Night Manager in preparation for the second season starting in November. I've got maybe 2 episodes of that, and it just gets better and better. It's just ramping up. Started off quite quietly, and there was a lot of sort of build up and backstory and everything. Now we're solidly into the action of it. It's just really good. Tom Hiddleston is absolutely fantastic, and the way that he can turn on the charm and everything, and yet at the same time he's in a hotel room with Elizabeth Debicki up against the wall, and you're seeing Tom's wee bare buttocks and things like that.
Yes, I remember that scene well, funnily enough.
Yes, yeah. And finally, I've got back into watching Blue Bloods, which I'd started a couple of months ago. So I just picked that up. And again, 40 minutes, police procedural with a sort of overarching story that doesn't infringe on what's going on. And that's good as well. And that's one of these programs that has people in it that you see in different, they're doing wee tiny bits in it as well. So it's that kind of film that you kind of TV show that you can just dip in and out. If you can watch one episode, you could watch 4 if you've got a couple of hours, and it's entertaining without being overbearing. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting as well. The story, obviously, is still in the first season of it, so the storylines are still all top notch. It hasn't dipped in any way, which these sort of procedurals can do after a while, because there's only so many crimes they can actually investigate. So the longer it goes, then the more they're relying on sort of the family stories and all this sort of stuff. So yes, it's good. Yeah. So that was me. That's been
quite a lot
so far. It is actually, yes, but it's just I didn't get a chance to watch as much stuff as I wanted, because I'm trying to watch a mixture of new films and old films, because there's an awful lot of stuff like on the iPlayer, like you talked about earlier on, that is nice to catch up on and don't always get the chance to do, especially some of these old sort of film noir. And you can see from the back there, see that the sort of multicolored list. Well, that's all. That's that is 8 box sets of film noir films from Universal or Columbia Studios. So I've been working my way through those as well, but I've not got very far with them, because that's from a company called Indicator Films, and they license a lot of these old films. Like they deal with Columbia, for instance, and where they can, they restore the films and add extras and source audio material and things, and radio play versions and things like that, stick them all on these discs, and they're brilliant releases, really, really nice. They do a lot of different things, but they've done a lot of Hammer stuff, they've done a lot of Columbia Noir stuff, they've done various bits of like some horror films and like William Wilder and people like that. So there's been some really, really good things in there. Well, having said that, I have to make a correction from last week. When I was talking about the witness for the prosecution, it wasn't, oh man, I've forgotten it again. That's terrible. Oh, I got the actor wrong in it, which, yes, it was actually Marlene Dietrich that was in it.
Oh.
It wasn't who I said it was, Greta Garbo, because Greta Garbo retired. She stopped acting at a relatively early age and didn't come back. But it was Marlene Dietrich who was very good in the film. But I realised that.
I tried to find that and I couldn't, but I don't
know. It
was,
I think it was yes, it was a Thursday night on BBC 4. But I made an assumption that it was an iPlayer, because basically everything they show,
usually
a lot of things that they show is available on iPlayer, but I could be wrong about that, which is my mistake.
It's maybe it's maybe just because I was looking at it from the iPlayer through Sky. Sometimes if you actually go on to the iPlayer website, you'll find more stuff. So I just wanted to because it did sound like something I'd be interested in. So just maybe
I always find that, well, for a long time, Sky didn't actually list any of the BBC stuff. Because they didn't. I don't think that they don't have it on the Sky box, do they? Do they have? Oh, they must have BBC One because it's free tier stuff. But for a while, they didn't have any of the catch-up stuff for the iPlayer stuff. So there must be a change there. So they actually do that now. Yeah. Good stuff. Yes. So that's us. So busy-ish week as normal.
Yes. I know. Do we ever slow down?
Well, that's the thing, we're like sharks. If you slow down, you die. That's what it is. You die creatively.
That would be lovely.
All about.
Yeah.